Hey everybody, this is Ted Check, recovering reporter. Here's an interesting headline for you from Bloomberg. China weighs sale of TikTok US to Musk as a possible option. Very interesting. Now, let's read on here. Chinese officials are evaluating a potential option that involves Elon Musk acquiring the US operations of TikTok if the company fails to fend off a controversial ban on the short video app, according to people familiar with the matter. Now, see, here's where you have to look at this critically, um, because a lot of times journalists hide behind this whole according to people familiar with the matter. I'm generally speaking, I'm against doing that because it chips away at the credibility of the media outlet. You know, people want to know who are these people? Who are you talking about? According to people familiar with the matter, like you shouldn't just be handing out these promises of anonymity willy nilly, pell mell willy nilly. You shouldn't be doing it. You should be reserving it for the most dire circumstances, like a Woodward and Bernstein kind of, all the president's men kind of thing, um, right? A Watergate kind of situation, not just for any little thing that comes up. Somebody says, "Well, I'll only talk to you if you don't use my name." Well, then I guess you don't want to talk to us that bad, And I guess we'll have to continue to look for a source that is willing to go on the record. Beijing officials strongly prefer that TikTok remains under the ownership of parent ByteDance. I don't think that anything named ByteDance should own anything. It's a horrible name, but anyway, the people say, and the company is contesting the impending ban with an appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court. So we'll have to see how that shakes out. So, and I guess that's what they're waiting for, because we know that Beijing officials, the Chinese government has its hands in TikTok. I think that has been well established. But there's some connection. I don't know if it's been determined precisely how much or to what degree, but they have a connection. They have their hands in TikTok, so that's why it's talking about Beijing officials. Otherwise, it'd be like, well, why did Beijing officials care? This is a private company. Not exactly. Not exactly. The government has its hands in it, so they would want it. But there's a strong opposition to that. There's an impending ban. So if they can, they have an appeal. I guess they do have an appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court. It says here, so they're gonna wait to see how that shakes out. If that doesn't, prove beneficial to them, if the justices deny that, then this is a possibility, selling to Elon Musk. Um, allegedly, said the people. See, again, the people. It just sounds very flimsy. It doesn't hold a lot of weight when you're just talking about random people that, you could be making the whole thing up. And that was, I talk about that in my book. That's one of the one of the areas where the media lost credibility with the American people, is by making shit up. So potential high-profile deal with one of Trump's closest allies holds some appeal for the Chinese government, which is expected to have some say over whether TikTok is ultimately sold, said the people. I don't know that they would really be into that because, the Chinese government and Trump, well, I mean, he's going to broker deals with the Chinese government. That I think is pretty much assured. But I don't know that they see Trump as a necessarily an ally. There's a lot of contention. There's going to be a lot of contention, and we can get into that in another thing. The drones, the people that have come across the border, buying Chinese people buying up parcels of land that are very, very close to that they would be. So you can see there's some type of, we could say there's some type of Cold War going on between us and China, And so I don't know if they would be, if the Chinese government would be on board with one of Trump's closest allies owning something that they once owned, that they once had their hands in. You see what I'm saying? So okay, so there you go. And but it's entirely possible, right? I mean, Mark Zuckerberg owned Facebook and then he bought Instagram. So why couldn't Musk, who owns X, then buy TikTok? The question is, where would the libs go after that? Where would liberal people go after Musk, if Musk were to acquire TikTok, because they really do enjoy that platform, but they might storm out of there in protest. Now, here's an opposing article from Variety.com. Variety. TikTok calls report that China is exploring sale of app to Elon Musk, quote unquote, pure fiction. So first we had the people, sources, we had unnamed sources, but now we have TikTok itself, apparently, denying a report that China is looking at potentially facilitating a sale of the app to tech billionaire Elon Musk to keep TikTok operational in America amid a looming U.S. government ban. Yeah, so I guess they have to weigh that out. ByteDance and the Chinese government have to weigh that out. It's either, do we lose all of this money by accepting the ban, or do we keep ourselves alive by selling to Elon Musk? But then if they sell to Elon Musk, then they won't be reaping any benefits in the future. They'll get whatever money Musk gives them, but then they won't have any control over it. You see, it's all very interesting. On Monday, Bloomberg. Yeah, so now this is talking about the Bloomberg article that I was just on. On Monday, Bloomberg reported that, quote, Chinese officials, blah, blah, okay, yeah, we read that. We can't be expected to comment on pure fiction. A TikTok rep. So, okay, TikTok, but who's the rep? We don't have the name of the rep. So again, kind of an unnamed source, although it's being attached to TikTok itself. Still doesn't. It's not quite what we want here with true journalism. And Musk has not commented on Bloomberg's TikTok report. He's the world's wealthiest individual. Yes, indeed, as of right now. And TikTok is in danger of being outlawed in the United States under a law set to take effect January 19th. That's the day before Trump takes office, unless the Supreme Court issues a ruling stopping it from taking effect. It's all very interesting stuff. On Friday, January 10th, the Supreme Court heard arguments in TikTok's emergency appeal seeking to block the law, with TikTok and ByteDance arguing that the law violates First Amendment rights of its 170 million U.S. users. But the justices seem to lean toward being more receptive to the government's position that TikTok represents a national security threat. So, as it falls under the jurisdiction of the Chinese Communist Party. Yeah, see, that is the problem. That's the problem. It's got too much of a connection to the Chinese Communist Party. They've got their hands too far into it. They shouldn't have their hands in it at all. But I mean, that's okay. So, they felt it necessary to do that, but we don't have to, as the United States, we don't have to accept that, because we want less Chinese influence in the United States. So it's like it's almost like a sleeper cell that's out in the open, because they have access. That the concern is they have access to all sorts of personal data from 170 million Americans, and that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. People may not care about that, but you have to balance that out as the government, as the United States government. Yeah, you want people to have freedom to join apps like this, but also you have to consider the national security threat. So, Beijing-based ByteDance has not indicated that it is exploring the sale of its approximately 40% stake in TikTok. Oh, okay. Well, who owns the 60%? Who owns the majority? I thought they owned all of it, and that the Chinese government just was behind the scenes, to an entity or investor group that would meet with U.S. approval. See, then Musk would have to be approved by somebody. Okay. So we're just gonna have to wait and see on this one. Very interesting stuff. We're just gonna have to wait and see. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think that that Elon Musk should buy TikTok? Do you think he should buy it, or do you think it should be entirely banned in the United States? Let me know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you later.